Hey everybody, how are you? Thank you for joining us for yet another mock draft here in August. We are certainly getting down to it. This is our fourth in 5 mock drafts that we'll be doing on the channel. And my guest here, I'll introduce you in just a second. I want to also just mention that we're sponsored by ZBiotics, and I'll get to talking about them in just a second. But very importantly, I asked my guest Ian Cohen on because I'm a fan of his music writing, very much so. I'm also a giant fan of, he's one half of a podcast that I listen to every single week called IndieCast, which probably throughout this episode of the mock draft, I will probably be bothering Ian for lots of things that I know about him from his podcast called IndieCast. But hi, Ian. Thanks for joining.
Hey, enough about me. Can we talk about Z-Biotics right now?
We really can't. We have to wait. We have as much as
Okay.
we'd like to talk about ZBiotics. But I like to start, especially when like you're a non-pro. You are a fantasy football player for a
Yeah.
long time, but that's kind of what before we do the draft, I still like to ask, like, what's your background in fantasy? How many leagues do you typically play in? How far back does your oldest league go? All that stuff.
Okay, so my oldest league, this would have probably have been 1990, 1991, back when the idea of like, I think it was still called rotisserie football back
Wow.
then. And I think I won the league that year, or at least did really well by drafting Warren Moon and like the Smurfs. I think I had like Haywood Jeffries, Ernest Givens, and yeah, that was like my strategy back then. And I do believe I was the person who would go look at the Philadelphia Inquirer and the box scores each Monday and tally it up. And it was, I can't recall the format that we used, but from that point forward, I've probably been in fantasy leagues every now and again, but I think 2006 really where it started. I am the most constant one I've been in is one with my brothers, fraternity brothers. So it's 11 Penn State graduates who were all in the same fraternity, and myself who did not go to Penn State. And because they are Penn State fans and they are also, for the most part, living in Philadelphia or New York City, every single year they overdrafted Saquon Barkley, except for last year. Like that year, 2024, it actually worked. So usually I could like leverage that to my advantage because, the second I'd have like the third pick in the draft and like number two. And this is like we're talking about the most garbage Giants teams. Like, I'm gonna go with Saquon Barkley, and I'd pick like, Christian McCaffrey in a year where he wasn't hurt. But currently I am in a three fantasy leagues right now. The one I just mentioned, there's another one I am in with I don't want to make it sound like super exclusive, but it's like mostly Pitchfork guys who like stopped writing in Pitchfork at like 2011, 2012 thereabouts, like the 45 to 50-year-old guys who are like really, really hoping that Deer Hunter makes another record soon. And yeah, then I'm in another one with just my friends in San Diego. So, any given year, like I'm probably in the playoffs for two of them, if not all three. So I guess I know what I'm doing, or like I know what I'm doing relative to other people in those leagues. I mean, the Pitchfork one and the one my brothers are in, like that's one where like there's like maybe one person tops every year who like kind of clocks out. And my
Oh,
San
okay.
Diego one, there's like clearly two or three people who are giving up after week two. So they're competitive, and I guess I have like a credo, I have like methods, I have an ethos to which I draft, but I mostly just kind of shoot from the hip. I think there are things that have served me for the past 20 years that are still true, even as like like I mean, I've been doing fantasy long enough where it's like drafting a fantasy wide receiver besides like Randy Moss in the first round would be insane, but that's
Right.
obviously no longer the case.
Right, that's changed. Yeah, the league has changed a lot. You predate me if you were playing in the early 90s. I do this for a living, and I think I didn't start until like 97, maybe, something like that. So, and that league still exists, actually. That the
Huh.
very first one I ever was in still exists and is drafting, I think, next week. Um, so the way this is going to work, this is going to be 12 team. We decided half PPR.
Yeah.
I have that right, right? Half PPR, yeah. And you don't know any of your draft spots yet in your drafts
I
Is there
know.
any ceremony that you guys in any of those leagues where they
There,
like people pick from a
there
hat?
typically is like with my brother's league, the one with all the Penn State guys. What we do is we do a like a tournament pool, an NCAA tournament pool, and the winner of that one, besides getting, whatever cash prize there happens to be, gets the first pick in the draft. And
Got it.
um, I can't remember. I spent 1 year in Kentucky, and so therefore like the Saquon Barkley of my fantasy in my tournament pool is Kentucky because I spent a year there. So I'm going to pick them to go way further than they will go. And
Didn't work this
it
year. Yeah.
it didn't work this year, the year before that, year before that, where they lost to St. Peter's in the first round. So that was what I also used to do when Virginia was making the tournament, because that's my alma mater, and 1 year it actually worked. But
Right.
otherwise it's like I know, like they're not. I mean, even the 20, like that year, I think it was the year before last, where they were like they were the team that made everyone mad by being in it, and then they just proceeded to lose by like 40 points to Colorado State. I was still like, what, they could surprise that team. They could surprise the 5 seed in the next round. Like, I really think that, don't let the 35 points a game fool you. Like,
So you're saying
or
you don't pick first that often in that pool in that league.
I actually did 1 year. I think
One
I,
time.
I did win it, and
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think I picked Duke counterintuitively, but yeah,
Well, we have
I,
you picking sixth here. So this is where you feel like you often pick
this is where I
sixth-ish. Yeah.
typically pick because
Yeah.
it's that nice like there is this feeling I have every time I'm done drafting where it's like by pick 8 or 9, I'm like, my team kind of sucks. And then
Mm.
after it's done, I'm like, oh my, like I don't have anyone I can rely upon. Like I don't have like a game, I don't have the person I can rely on for 20 points every single game. And I'm like trying to do this mishmash of 15 here, 15 there. And without fail, I lose all 3 game 1s in my leagues. Like maybe I'll pick, like it feels like every single year I lose all 3, and I'm like, and they're not close. It's like but eventually what happens is my teams start to get some momentum, and maybe some of the rookies I stashed are starting to perform, or usually it was like like whoever the second running back on the Bengals is, I get that guy. Jeremy Hill. I'll never forget Jeremy Hill because there was a year where the championship was happening, and I needed to like outscore I needed to score a certain amount of points to win. Like I need Jeremy Hill to like score like 11 points. Like nothing outrageous, but like also not like totally like reliable. And I was at a Saves the Day Say Anything show in at the House of Blues. This is the show where Max Bemis threw up on stage and his dad cleaned it up. And this was like I think Jeremy Hill like busted out like an 80-yard touchdown on the first play, and I'm like, hell yeah, I can enjoy the show.
And the barf.
Yeah.
Uh, so we're gonna put you in sixth. We're gonna put you in prime Jeremy Hill location. I don't think he's in the game anymore, so you can't take him this year. I'm gonna pick first overall because that's where
Okay.
producer Dave, who's in our ears, has placed me. So I will have some back-to-back picks to talk about. I'm gonna ask you some music stuff. I want to hear more vomiting stories from various emo shows. And also I have podcast lore that I want to ask you about. We'll do that as we go,
All
but
right.
I guess we can get started, Dave. If you wanna hit the thing and put me on the clock for the first overall pick. And yeah, no, we're not doing a wide receiver at 1 overall. There's no. I know everybody and their mother has Jamar Chase as the number 1 overall pick. That is not the valuable position in fantasy. Love Jamar Chase, obviously, but we're gonna go Saquon.
Hmm.
Bijan Robinson is arguable, but even the folks in your brother's league probably are going to be taking Saquon reasonably high this year, I
Oh,
would imagine.
absolutely.
So he's going to be the one.
You might get a Malik Neighbors believer, like because there's some of them are big Giants fans. So, like, I'm just thinking of the first person who you would overrate on the Giants, and it's got to be Malik. So,
It probably is. All right, so are we getting on to the second pick here? Oh, he's just turning on the auto. So there goes Chase. and Bijan and CD Lamb and Jameer Gibbs.
All right.
You
So
with what's your thought process? Take us through it.
all right. So I don't love Justin Jefferson. I mean, the guy is incredible, but like also JJ McCarthy. I
Mm.
don't love and like I don't I'm not in love with all of these guys. So I'm thinking to myself, CeeDee Lamb's gone. Like Bijan Robinson, I don't believe in. Like I'm not buying that. Just because like I'm not a believer in the quarterback, and it's also the Falcons. I like if I were number two or number three, I'd pick him, but
Hmm.
I'm just like not really a believer in it. So, um, that being said, uh, I gotta pick Justin Jefferson. I'm gonna bite that bullet. I'll
I
regret
think
it
it's
if I don't.
fine. It's
Yeah,
fine. I mean, Henry is definitely a possibility, even any
yeah,
PPR type scenario, but Jefferson's really good there too. There's, news about his hamstring, but he's back at practice already
yeah.
after having had the hamstring problem. So,
One person I was considering was McCaffrey.
of course, I completely understand why. Like, I'll ask you that question. Like, in
Mhm.
your drafting, do you tend to be risk embracing or do you tend to be risk averse? Because obviously McCaffrey would kind of be the ultimate risk
Averse.
embracing pick.
Yeah,
Do
averse.
you? Yeah,
Definitely
yeah,
averse.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, risk averse, like, because I mean, I'm risk averse in the beginning and totally risk taking after the fact. But
You just
like
you don't want to get messed up by that first pick or the second pick.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna, God, I'm already like upset about my draft. Um,
It
I'm
didn't
like
take long, Ian.
I'm already upset. Yeah, I'm trying to think like what running back wise, like do I Jonathan Taylor probably. I mean, um, I'm gonna go ahead and okay, I'm gonna take a risk because it's like I didn't. This is a mock draft, not a
It is
draft.
a That's
Gonna
right.
go with
It's
the
good for
Georgia
practice.
boy.
Oh wow. That is high. That is high. Um so I guess we're at the point where I guess I'm gonna do the we're gonna do Z-Biotics read now, Ian. Are you excited? We're gonna
I'm
learn all about
excited.
Z-Biotics.
I don't drink, but like I'm excited to hear about like for the people who do.
There you go. Z-Biotics is they've sponsored us all through this mock draft series. They sponsor the podcast. They're a really, really great sponsor. It's the first drink before drinking. It's a little vial. This is a bunch of them, but there's a little vial. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic, and if it's your first drink before drinking, you enjoy responsibly, stay hydrated. You'll have as the less. I'll put it this way: the morning after for me is way less rough than it should be. Can I promise you it's nothing depending on how much you drink? No, but it is shocking how past experience tells me that it should be a lot worse than it is, and it's kind of miraculous. It's science. It's a product that was created by PhD chemists. It's a probiotic that attacks an enzyme that it makes you feel bad after drinking. That gets when it gets downstream, it breaks it up before it ever gets there. It's kind of amazing. Highly recommend if people have fantasy drafts coming up and you're going to make a weekend out of it and you're going to have it's a great party favor. It's a great thing to just give out before when everybody gets there, because I really do think you'll feel better for your actual draft. If you go to zbiotics.com/Harris, you get 15% off your first purchase, and you need to give it a little lag time, so they need to send it to you in the mail. So make sure you order now. Like you're seeing this right now, just order now for your draft. Huge believer. Really appreciate that they have supported us through this month of mock drafts here in August. Zbiotics.com/Harris, and there you go. Now you learned all about it, Ian. It's
Absolutely. Yeah.
fairly
Love it.
miraculous. Yeah. All right. Here, what am I going to do? I've gone running back early. I'm going to go. One of these picks is going to be a wide receiver for sure, and then the question is, are both going to be wide receivers? And probably not. The answer is probably not. I'm gonna put Barkley together with another fantasy running back. I trust I can piece together wide receiver as we go. The lad, another Georgia boy, is
Ah,
sitting there. I'm going to leave him for you. Let's see if he gets through to you. I don't think he will.
I doubt it. Yeah, because we got
Yeah,
bots. Yeah, they're gonna
we got
snap him
bots.
up.
I'm going to go. Brees Hall, I'm still a believer, and I'm going to go JSN. But if JSN and Lad McConkey are real close, and like if you told me it needed to be Lad, I wouldn't be mad at you. I have Jason rated a little bit higher, especially when they're both great for PPR, but I think JSN's got a chance to catch like
Yeah,
120 passes in that
Sam
offense. Yeah.
Darnold, man. You got to go with the Red Rocket. No, that's
Here
Andy
you go.
Dalton. Never mind.
Oh, does he get through? He did.
All
He
right.
got the Georgia
So,
boy doubling up.
but but
Are
but
you gonna
James
do
Cook
it?
too. James Cook is
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
So, I don't have I don't I'm just
You don't have any running backs, right?
I don't have any running backs yet. But when I look at who's out there, like what I'm seeing is uh, I'm gonna go with I'm feeling, you know what? I can find I'm gonna go with Lad.
Zero RB. We're seeing it live in motion. We're gonna see how this works out. Your stomach and how bad or good it feels after this draft is going to be a great indicator of whether you could really do this in a real draft.
All right. So,
Let me ask you a question before
yes.
we do the football part in round 4 here. I want to ask you about the fantasy albums draft
Okay.
because that's why I really thought of you for this segment for this channel because I listen to you and Steve Hyden, and
Hmm.
every quarter you guys do a fantasy albums draft, and that consists of each of you taking, is it 5 albums per quarter? Is that right?
Yeah, it's five.
Yeah. And then based on how they perform so the albums that have not been released yet, and
Hmm.
based on how they perform on the Metacritic score,
Hmm.
you add up all the Metacritic scores, and whoever wins wins. And I assume massive amounts of money changes hands. You guys just don't talk about that on the show.
No, we no money exchanges hands at all. It's
I
just
figured.
simply
Yeah.
it is simply just a matter of pride
Love
and
of the game.
fun, and
Yeah.
we just try to work it out so that it's close somehow.
You do every quarter. I mean, I wanted to kind of ask about Alex G because the Alex G record started out red hot. I think, does Steve have Alex G? Is that
He
right?
does, yeah, he does.
And he's mad because it like took a little bit of a dive.
So what we've been seeing is like we've been doing this bit for 2 years, maybe
Yeah.
two,
Yeah.
3 years. Not like it's something we just kind of figured out like recently, and even in the time that that's been happening, we've just seen I mean, I think this is true with all things media, a complete devastation, let's just say,
Yeah.
to the point where like the strategies that would get you by a year ago no longer apply. And what happens is that all the places, like you don't draft for the pitchfork score anymore because it's like all the places that are still around, like they're just kind of like wonky in terms of like when they publish, and maybe they got like the one guy who's been looking to stick it to Alex G for the past 10 years, and they finally like winnowed their way into like into line of best fit or like the skinny, or no disrespect to those places, but like it's like, oh, I'm gonna be the guy. Like I've written at places like that before, and it's like, oh yeah, I can get my hands on whatever it was in
Yeah.
2007. And so yeah, it's just in a way it's more fun because it's more unpredictable. But it's also kind of depressing because you would look at, when I write one of the type of article I do a lot now for Uprocks is like albums rankings list of like bands like Spoon, and
Yeah.
I got one on Beach House coming, and I look at like how they were treated back in their day, and everything had 35 reviews in like 2014.
Mm.
Everything. Like
Mm.
it's not just like the Spoons and the Beach Houses. It's like Dodos. You're wearing a Dodos t-shirt. I
Yeah.
imagine No Color got reviewed by no less than 65 publications, all of them. And each person who wrote about them was making $250 for that piece.
Yeah.
I can assure you that was the case, but nowadays it's not. So, I mean, we're just kind of lording over a dead medium.
You're guessing. I like that Alex G single, that song,
Lifetime.
way more than any other Alex G song I've ever listened to. Like I've kind of always just dismissed him as internet music before. Should I give that the full new Alex G record of like an actual listening, like all the songs?
So I think for somebody who believes that Alex G is internet music will really like this album,
Okay.
because it sounds, and I mean I wrote the review, so like I can say this is a positive. It sounds like the major label Alex G album, so it
Okay.
sounds like something you could hear. Like Lifetime sounds like a song you would hear at a like a Ralph's or a Kroger, or well, no, we're all West Coast, so it's Ralph's.
Yeah.
You would in the same place you would hear like a Haim song, or you could hear it like in the
Not really
Sirius
selling it
X.
to me there, Ian.
You live in
If
LA,
it's
you love that band.
I do not like Heim. I am sorry. I do not like. I'm not. Yeah.
All right, so okay, the Sirius XM station where you would also hear Wilco and MJ Lenderman songs.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, it's definitely his least internet music-y album. In the same way that like, I mean, I'm gonna like give it a positive comparison to like Death Cab for Cutie's Plans, where it's like, oh, that's the band where they become like a radio rock band as
Mm,
opposed to like an indie rock band. So,
okay.
yeah, I think if
I'll give it a
yeah,
shot.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got if you got time to do a mock draft with me, you got time to give 40 minutes to the new Alex G album.
I'm afraid that that correlation is not accurate, but we'll just leave it there. um, all right. Well, we're gonna get on. You now have gone zero RB through 3 rounds, and now you're looking at what in the fourth round? What's your mindset now?
My mindset in the fourth round is like, can I get like a top-notch QB? And the answer to that is no.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, Joe
uh,
Burrow is there. He's
Joe
pretty top
Burrow is
notch.
there, and I mean, I feel I gotta grab like one running back,
Yeah.
because I feel like I feel like quarterbacks will be available, but like I'm liking
Agreed.
Kenneth Walker.
That's my top running back on the board. Probably my top player on the board, to be honest.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
someone who I feel like he's burned me before, but I'm like, I can't think of any other Seattle running backs. There's that like Charbonnet guy.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. Kenneth Walker is always someone where like, is he hurt or is he like, does he
No, he is.
suck?
He's
Or
definitely that guy. Yeah.
yeah, he's like, he either
Yeah.
sucks or he's hurt or he's like scoring 25 points in
Fair
the week
point.
you're playing that guy. So
Well,
I don't know.
now he's on your team.
I
You didn't
feel,
exactly go zero RB. You like got a little sane in the fourth round. You're
yeah, I got a little sand in the fourth round.
Yeah, I like it.
So.
All right, so we got me at the turn here again. I'll definitely wind up with another wide receiver here. Maybe two, to be honest, because now the running back group is getting sadder for sure.
Slim Pickens, yeah.
Yeah, there's still good wide receivers left. At this point, the three tight ends have all gone. Would I consider one of them? Look, the last pick in the fourth round, sure. I am just a guy. Everybody watching knows I always wait on tight end.
Mm.
I'm really not going to ever take a quarterback, and maybe I could have taken Burrow. He went 2 picks before me. That stupid bot picking in the 3 spot. I could have taken Burrow there, but there's no other. Now they're all gone. Mahomes, but no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go receiver. We're going to go DJ Moore, and we're going to go Devontae Adams. Going to take the chance that Matthew Stafford's back is nothing like my back. Uh, all right, so now we get back to you again,
Oh
and
God.
even before you pick a play, like, do you feel pressure having you've Walker, who's probably an RB2 for fantasy,
Sure.
uh, but you have potentially 2 wide receiver ones, so that's awesome. Do you feel pressure to go running back here? Do you feel like, no, if there's not one that I like, I don't feel pressure? What's your mindset?
My mindset is like, I gotta pick one, but I'm like, who the are these guys? Sorry.
Well, maybe not anymore.
All
We
right,
gave you
cool.
one.
Yeah, because like now we're getting into like the range where you got Brian Robinson, who last I heard is like about to get cut, or
Yeah,
Joe Mixon who's in the on the pup list, it appears, or
yeah,
like
permanent ankle.
Montgomery, who's not even the starter on his own team. But God, I mean, or I'm like overrating a guy like Travion Henderson because like I think ran back a touchdown in the
Kickoff
preseason.
return. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
kick or Travis Etienne, like a personal favorite of mine. These players, man, I'm like, but I'm also like looking at these wide receivers, like I don't know about these dudes either. But I'm gonna say that Cortland Sutton could be something. I think
For sure.
that's like I think that's a good guy to have at least as flex. So I'm gonna go with him because
He's your
I'm thinking,
flex?
yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
flex because it's like I bet I can get a running back who I somewhat like.
Well, let's see. You know that at least in the second half of the draft, you can always fire multiples at maybe guys, high upside maybe
Yeah,
guys. That's always a
exactly. And
possibility.
so,
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, pupless. I don't think that's a good thing. Quinshawn Judkins, I don't. He's got some stuff going on. I don't
He
love it.
does. He does have a little
Yeah.
little bit of stuff, you might call it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Aaron Jones to me.
Yeah.
Look, the Vikings are going to need to run.
Could be. Could be. Could be a lot of Jordan Mason. We'll find out. Who knows?
Yeah.
Um, all right, I'm going to ask you another music question. I'm going to ask you
All
another.
right.
I'm going to ask you. I'm going to mention hilariously that just today, or actually just yesterday, for when this airs, on my podcast, somebody sent an email saying how unbelievably MJ Lenderman coded my audience is.
Just say men next time.
Well, but there's a certain dopey sweetness to them that I don't find that have that audience. Like a lot of the fantasy world is beset by um, what would I say? What's a nice way to say it?
Yeah,
Lunkheads.
like
Yeah,
disturbed coded or like
yeah, like a little angrier.
yeah, I don't
Not as
know who that
sweet.
guy I don't know who that guy is nowadays for that. Like who's the like because you
Right,
want to say
right.
like Creed or but like that's like 2000 like I don't know what the modern day equivalent it's probably like some country dude like whoever like I'm not gonna talk about like rival podcasting things but it's just like I
uh,
yeah I
yeah.
don't it's like one of the country like not Morgan Wallen I don't know
Who did try that in a small town?
yeah Jason
That guy.
Aldean.
There you go.
I think
There's a lot of
that's him.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
There's
me
a
and
lot of
Steve
that.
talked about that one episode.
Yeah, our guest actually on the mock draft last week is. Do you know Pat
Jason
Finnerty?
Aldean. Oh, Pat
No, not.
Finnerty. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Jason Aldean. Yeah, I'm lighting him up now. Screw that guy. He didn't take Saquon number one overall. Yeah, we had Pat on last week, and one of his most recent long form video was on Try That in a Small Town. It was a very funny video. Uh, and yeah, so we are very MJ Lenderman coded. And I like some of MJ Lenderman, but the question I really wanted to ask you, tongue in
Yeah.
cheek, it's not really a question because I love Steve's work. I don't know him personally. I don't, now I hopefully know you a little personally. Do you ever get the world's tiniest little eye roll when Steve says, "My discovery this week is," and then he says another country band?
So this is patio music, not
Yeah.
country. I mean, he'll call it Heartland rock. Don't call it
Right.
Americana.
Right.
I mean, like you could if you were on this right now, like you would say, don't you get a little eye roll when Ian talks about like he's a 45-year-old man, like talking about like emo bands who have like 5,000 followers on Spotify. Like this is how I find out about like stuff because every now and again, like a band like Fust, for example, when I hear from him, like he's someone I trust on
Right.
this like
Right.
subject. And so, I think what makes our podcast work is that even though we have a lot of overlap in what we're into, we still have our own kind of lanes, like
For sure.
and so when
And I
he
agree. I'm
yeah,
kind of kidding. Yeah.
yeah, no, I know like but yeah, it's just like and we play that up on, the show where there's like bands that it's like clearly like he's super into them, I am less so, and like bands where I am into them and he's probably a little more forceful talking about like bands that I like that he does not. So but look, it's GQ says it's the year of dad rock. So Steve's on trend. Like I am riding his coattails this year because he's been on this beat for like decades. And now all of a sudden, indie rock like at the highest echelons of coolness are like starting to sound like jam bands and
Country.
1987 John Cougar Mellencamp. So
I feel like it's indie rock, especially like the stuff that is indie cred now. I mean, that MJ Lenderman record, Manning Fireworks, is really I like it a
I
lot,
love
but
that record.
I can't really listen to all of it at once though, because I feel like it's a lot of pedal steel. It's a lot of I just back in the Texas days again. I feel like I'm at the the broken spoke. It's awfully country, but
Yeah. Well, I
it's
mean,
it's good
when
stuff.
you talk about Heim, to me, it's like that just sort of reminds me of being at Jewish summer camp. And so like we all bring our baggage into the things we listen to now. Like we actually had one of the more recent episodes Steve and I did was about the Billy Joel documentary in which he appears. And like everything I mean, it makes a great case for Billy Joel. And like, he has like a lot of songs which is like undeniably good. But I'm like, you I can't not be the guy who was 13 years old, 15 years old or whatever. Like, I just want to listen to that first Foo Fighters album. And here you are trying to play the Lion King soundtrack at all times. Like, what, like, and Billy Joel, River of Dreams. Like, River of Dreams, like, this was 1993. Did anybody want to listen to Smashing Pumpkins? Yeah, like the one camp counselor who I played guitar with. Otherwise, like the most popular kids in the summer camp love to play on their like play solitaire on their laptops. Again, this is 1993. What kind of kid has a laptop and listen to the Lion King soundtrack or Billy Joel River of Dreams? So that
Uh,
I just it's like I think there's just like a maybe a sort of thing where it's like where your oppressors like you thought you grew up and outlasted your oppressors, but then it kind of comes back in this nastier way where it's like all the cool kids are into like pedal steel and
yeah,
Steely Dan and like,
yeah,
oh God, man. So
yeah. I can't do it. I can't do it. I've listened to all your recommendations, both the IndieCast. We definitely want to get some more listeners for IndieCast. People, the crossover of music and sports. There's a lot.
yes, I'm glad that we're like the first people to like be at that intersection, like
Right? Who had never ever thought of it before. But
no.
believe me, like, and Pat said this last week, like, there are a lot of musicians who look down on sports, who like, I never got to play sports and I hate the jocks. They were all jerks to me.
Yeah, but I think less so now. I think a lot of more
Yeah,
like, and again,
I think
like
that's
I
right.
think when Steve did his interview with Hotline TNT, once it become like not like when you become a band that's like kind of known for knowing ball, like now everyone wants to ask you about it. Because like I had a
Right.
few years where I would interview indie rock bands and like we would just it's like, oh, it's so clear they'd rather be talking about basketball
Right.
than their record. Not even just because like they're getting asked the same question 5 billion times. It's just like, I'd rather talk about the Eagles. I'd rather talk about the Sixers than this thing that I put all of my like pain into over the past 2 years.
I do. All right, well, let's get back to this.
All right.
I got a couple of picks. I'm a big Joe Mixon honk from way back. Maybe I'll just trust that week 4 his foot feels better, and I don't need him to start right away. At this point, I'm picking. Well, I guess we are playing two flexes in this league that
Yeah.
we're not playing out. So I'm gonna take Mixon, and I really like getting Ricky Pearsall in so many drafts.
Hmm.
So Ricky Pearsall.
All right, Jerry
Uh,
Judy.
I'm sure you're heartbroken not getting Jerry Judy.
Yeah, I think I'll
Mm.
live.
Yeah, somehow,
All right.
nevertheless, he persisted.
Yeah. All right. So, oh boy. Now we're in the dregs. I always love saying that line from The Simpsons. So you know what? I am feel like this is where we're just kind of taking shots. Do I do Travis Etienne? Do I trust the Jags again? Because like I don't know. Oh, Tank Bigsby. I'm like, you know
Yeah, Tank
what?
Bigsby's there, Bashul Tootin, the rookie. It does seem like a little bit of a mess, but yeah, I don't mind Tracy there. That's a good
Yeah,
pick.
I feel like the Giants are like a trustable thing where it's like you got Russell Wilson, you'll I feel okay with it. All
Well,
right,
the
this is
backup
me.
Scadaboo just went two picks before you there. So the Tracy Scadaboo combination.
Yeah. All
Did you
right.
love did you love Scadaboo in college football last year?
Yeah,
Was
I
he
feel like this has got kind of Tommy Vardell type stuff going on.
All right. The answer's no to that question.
No, I think he'll be good, but All right. As far like everything about the Bears just stinks to high heaven with me, but
Roma Dunze. Yeah.
yeah. Sublime with
I,
Roma Dunze. Feel free to take that as
I
as a fantasy team name.
I think you're a little bit of a sharp. We might have got our first like true sharp of the year among the amateurs we're drafting with. It's pretty good stuff.
For me?
Um, yeah, you've been. These are good picks.
I don't think
Yeah.
so. I feel terrible.
Well, if you look at this team now, we're more than halfway through the draft. Tell me what you
Yeah.
think of your team.
All right, my team right now, like I'm looking at them and I'm like seeing no rainmakers. I am seeing like,
Jefferson, come on, he's a rainmaker.
yeah, but I feel like he's gonna get hurt. He's already hurt. Brock Bowers, like I feel like he might have one of those Trey McBride type years where he gets like 10 receptions a game and no touchdowns. But I love like the idea of like Geno's, like I don't care if it was like, I'm trying to think of like the most average tight end from back in the day. Like who is like the remember some guy tight end? I want to say from like let's say this person would be on they would be on the
Jared
Redskins.
Cook.
Jared Cook, exactly. Even if it was Jared Cook, Geno Smith at quarterback, I'm like trusting that. Like the tight end's gonna be awesome. There's gonna be a lot of checkdowns coming here,
All right.
or like some guy on the Seahawks, like just um I'm
Could
trying to
happen.
remember, like Jeremy Stevens or whatever.
Yeah, Jeremy Stevens.
All
Late
right,
career
yeah.
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham. So
Yeah, late
I'm
career.
feeling like these like Lad McConkey could be Wes Welker or he could be I don't know like what's like a white guy who put up like real numbers, not like PPR numbers.
Julian Edelman. No, that's not the case.
No, 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 we can't think of any.
Early career Adam Thielen. How about
Adam
that?
Thielen. Well, Adam Thielen was
Yeah.
still kind of possession receiver coded. He was just like, but that yeah, it's just like I feel like I'd be a killer in PPR, half PPR, less so. I feel like my running backs are all like guys who I've just rode for 5 points back in the day. Like I'm getting like Kenneth Walker's gonna give me like 12 rushes, 43 yards, and a fumble type games for sure. Um, so
Uh,
yeah, I mean I don't like the I get I have sneak into the playoffs as the sixth seed
that's the
with
vibe.
yeah with and then maybe I'll start cooking. So
All right.
I don't feel great. Like I have issues with every single person I picked.
Does this lead you towards skipping running backs early, or does it lead you away from it? You have decided based on this, I probably should get a running back in
I
those
should
first
probably get
few
a running
rounds.
back early.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I should
Well,
probably get a running back early because like Derrick Henry, I mean, who's got like he's a tank, man. Like
he's pretty good.
he's gonna eat. Like he's not gonna get receptions, but like he's gonna eat.
He doesn't
So
really need him. Yeah, he
yeah.
didn't need him last year. He was like the RB3 in a half PPR. He's like the RB3, so he
Yeah,
didn't need him
so
last year.
I would have picked McCaffrey. I think that just set off this like domino effect where
It does
you
though, right? That's how it works. You do. You back yourself into a positional corner, and especially when you skip running back, which is clearly
yeah,
the most scarce
yeah,
position.
I'm just waiting for like this is where I start. I don't know if Sleeper like Yahoo gives you like grades. Like they
I'm
send you
sure
an
they do.
email with your grade
Yeah, I'm sure
and
they
it's
do.
like C plus every single year. Even the teams I'm like I think I kind of killed it here. It's like nope, C plus.
Yeah, that's just because all they're doing is comparing it to their default ranks. Like if you draft exactly with their ranks, which are not right, but that's their ranks. So I wouldn't feel bad about your grade.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Well, I'm not going to take a tight end and I'm not going to take a quarterback, even though I
Oh,
have I have none of either. I'm just going to keep firing bullets at the scarce positions. We're going to go. I need a running back because Brees Hall was my two pick, but like I understand what could go wrong. I like the upside. There are a lot of people who don't like my Brees Hall take, which is that I think he's really good and he's been trapped in a loveless marriage, and I think quality will eventually show through.
okay.
But between that and Mixon, I clearly need to get running backs. So I'm gonna go back to back running backs. I'm going to go J.K. Dobbins, and I'm going to go Cartavius. Do you know that that's Tank Bigsby's real name is
No,
Cartavius?
I thought it was Tank.
No, it's Cartavius. We
I
call
thought
him.
I thought we've reached a part like a time in society where you can like just call your kid Tank.
I'm sure we have, and maybe no. I think Tank Dell's Nathaniel.
Hmm.
Tank Bigsby is Cartavius, and we call him the map maker on my show because he's Cartavius, but he's joining. So here we go.
Oh, you could tell Tyler Warren's gonna be good because he's still wearing his Penn State tie. Uh,
You're brokenhearted not getting the Penn State kid.
hmm.
One pick before you.
Yeah, I think I'll be all right. But
You're gonna,
Jaden Reed, shout out to that guy. He balled out and won me a league back in 2 years ago. It was like one of those like down to the wire, like I don't know, like. And I was thinking about starting one of the other like Romeo Doubs or something like that. I think I had like all three Packers wide receivers because it was the last week of the year, and I had Jaden Reed. I had Romeo Dubes and I had Dontavian Wicks because he's a UVA guy. And so, um, uh, the do I don't know about the Green Bay people. I don't know about Najee Harris. I mean, is he the starting running back for the Chargers? I
he's
don't know.
not, but that guy's been taken. Omarion Hampton.
Yeah, so, ugh, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna. I mean, do I like Goodwin? I don't know. I mean,
Going to
he
start the
did
year on the pup list, right? But
yeah,
that's why
so
you're getting him. You wouldn't get him in the ninth round if he wasn't. So
yeah, so I want to say J Juwan Jennings, that guy, I remember he just had like the most balled out game. I'm gonna go with Agbuka.
all right, Ohio State. So I'm led to believe and understand that you're playing a lot of the new college football video game. Is that correct?
Yes, and I think that there's just something kind of off about the game because
Oh, really?
it's impossible to run.
Oh,
Impossible.
wow.
Like I have to turn up the blocking to I have to turn up the blocking to like 95 because otherwise you like all the it doesn't matter. I'm gonna pick Dak Prescott, by the way.
Okay,
Uh I think I'm
you
gonna
got your
pick
quarterback.
yeah, the
Yeah.
QBs on bad teams. I think they'll be bad. So but yeah,
It's too hard to run.
it's too hard to run because like all the linebackers have the instincts of Ray Lewis. They just like shoot the gap and shoot, yeah. It's I think there's just like legitimately something wrong with the AI because this was not true in 2020 the game from last year.
Okay.
But I think I'm figuring it out. Like I'm playing with Iowa's offensive line on like 100 and I'm playing against like I forget who. Like, like, hey, I'm finally averaging 4 yards a run, but it's because I break off one for 20. And
Right.
so I'm playing it, but I haven't gotten into fantasy I haven't gotten to a dynasty yet because I just haven't tweaked the
Right.
EQ to the point where I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun when I play it. Like, it's taken me a
Right.
long time to get it to like, okay, this is fun when I play it, has me a bit worried because that's the only video game I own my PS5 for.
Well, just taking Ibuka made me think of it because he obviously was probably pretty good in the game
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna draft here, but I also while I do that, I want to ask about your book that
Yeah.
is still in the early writing stages. You're still in the gathering
Very much in the
information
early
stages.
phases. Yes.
But congratulations and tell the people what it's going to be about.
All right. So the name of the book right now is Feeling Neglected. It's named after a Rana Maria song, and it is about 90s emo. So I had to spend, I talked about this last week on the podcast where me and Steve talked about My Chemical Romance, and that is a band that played a major role in like basically every other emo book that is on the market, like Dan Ozzi's Sellout. It does have Jeff Rickley from Thursday on the cover. My Chemical Romance is like kind of kind of the crux of it. Like, similarly, Chris Payne, another friend of mine, he wrote a book of Where Are Your Boys Tonight? Uh, I believe it's got, I'm looking at it on my shelf. I believe it's got Gerard Way on the cover, but it's about that and Fall Out Boy and so forth. And um, basically, if you write about I think Emma Garland, she's writing a book as well about like MySpace emo. So and essentially, if you write about My Chemical Romance, you get a book deal if you're writing about emo. And so, where does that leave me, a person who's like who really love the stuff from Diary, but not before. Like I don't listen to like I honestly don't listen to Rites of Spring. I don't listen to the stuff that's like pre-Diary all that much. Like sorry if that makes me not credible. Like real emo only consists of copy pasta stuff. But from Diary to so the book at the moment starts at Diary, Sunny Real Estate's Diary, and ends with Jimmy Eat World's Bleed American, which to me is like I guess what you would like what Nevermind was for like alternative rock or like what Dr. Dre's The Chronic was for gangster rap, meaning that it was like the time where it like exploded. It was like kind of the
Yeah.
end of the genre in a way where it just became like a radio thing and it kind of lost whatever roots it had with, what it meant before. And so the book ends in a way with like the revival that happened, late 2000s and early 2010s and to the current day and like how how you can see the popularity of these bands manifesting in, even stuff like Phoebe Bridgers or the 1975 or bands of that nature. But really, what I'm doing is kind of taking people through the 90s and like how the scene evolved. It's largely Midwest stuff. So, you start with Cap and Jazz and like, how Texas is the reason is representative, like how major labels are starting to like try to sign bands and Braid comes in, Promise Ring, Get Up Kids, and also chapter on Pedro the Lion about how emo in the 90s starts to cross over with Christian culture. Death Cab for Cutie and Bright Eyes, like early stuff and how that's starting to define what emo becomes. And then eventually it ends with Jimmy Eat World. And so it's different than other books that are on the market, because I kind of have to pitch it as a collective thing. It's like it's not like, oh, I like My Chemical Romance or whatever or Fall Out Boy. I'm gonna buy this book.
Yeah.
It's definitely more of a curated pitch. And it's a lot of it is about like the people who made it. It's not me like pontificating about for the 5 billionth time about like the American football album, but it's more about, like them meeting in college, like how all this stuff started to evolve, not just at colleges, but like colleges in the Midwest and how that sensibility plays out in the music. There's a lot of like kind of like what ethnomusicological studies of like Midwestern suburbs and the kind of like Midwest inferiority complex and how that plays into it and how this music could really only evolve in a certain time in a certain place in the country, and how everything that was happening there was like taken up by bands on like either coast and just ran with. And so, yeah, as I was saying before, I've gotten to know way more about the childhoods of all four members of Cap and Jazz than I ever thought I could. But it's been a lot of fun. It's all the bands are really excited to just kind of have their stories be told, and because like there's no scene, there wasn't really an emo scene. I'm gonna give a kind of a sneak preview of the sort of stories that gets told here. But Sam from Cap and Jazz and Owls and Joan of Arc, I asked them, it's like, were people like using the term emo back when Cap and Jazz was like happening in 1995? It's like, not really. Like we all thought like that just kind of faded away. But there was this one guy from Washington, D.C. who would show up to shows in like one of those old timey press hats, with the little card. You know what I'm saying? Like it says
Hmm.
press, but it said emo. And this was the guy who was like trying to make it happen there. And I guess his way won out, but it was like literally a guy like wearing a pork pie hat with
The
like
word
otherwise
emo.
no one was using that term. So those are the stories I hope to get out because like I don't want to
Yeah.
write another review of I've written about these albums a billion times. So
Right. Right. That's cool. That sounds
but it's
awesome.
not
I'm
and it's
what
not an oral history either. So
right. Well, I mean, I showed you the music book
yeah.
that I did, the novel that I did, but like I read so much criticism, and like, but the one that everybody, a million people have talked to you about it, I'm sure. But Our Band Could Be Your Life kind of did that.
Yeah.
It sounds similar to that, but just for a different scene.
Exactly. And so
Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping to do because, a
yeah,
lot of the bands came up around the same time.
yeah,
And yeah, I think that is, if it comes off like that, great.
yeah.
Because I loved Sellout, loved Where Are Your Boys Tonight. I am not trying to get the same book happening. It's not going to be, Meet Me in the Bathroom. It's not an oral
Right.
history, and none of the stories are that salacious. There's not as much money going around, except for Texas is the reason. They had a lot of money thrown at them. But
Okay.
yeah, it's just like kind of it's like
It's
giving
awesome.
a very serious Our Band Could Be Your Life treatment to music that hasn't been given that. And I think that's really what makes it special. I think that everyone who I can predict who's going to want to buy that book, and I think that's kind of what got the pitch across. It's like
It's great.
it might not be like, a bestseller, like maybe people aren't going to see it on the bookshelf and say, "Oh, I'll read about that," like because or maybe they think it's going to be about My Chemical Romance and buy it mistakenly. But it's going to be I think it's going to satisfy a very specific type of person. And I know they
Well,
exist, so
I exist. I'll read it. I'm looking
yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah,
All right.
basically everyone who goes to Best Friends Forever this year or last year is required by law to buy my book.
I hope they saw that in the fine print on the ticket, which
Yeah.
was not an actual physical ticket. All right. Start it back up again, Dave, and we'll keep going. We're into the double digit rounds here. I'm still not seeing quarterbacks or tight ends that I care to particularly dabble in.
Hmm.
I get him later. I'll do Godwin because you don't get him to slate if he was healthy. He's obviously not. And you know, we'll do. Yeah, I lied. I'll take CJ Stroud. I took a
Yeah.
quarterback. Uh,
You think he's due for a bounce back?
it's enough to where if I take him, my starting quarterback in the 11th round, it's fine.
Yeah.
And in a single quarterback league, I'm just going to have so many options if he's not. I just like the fact that I think the offense obviously has upside, but they have to figure out the offensive line for sure.
Right. Oh man, who are these people? I gotta tell you
Well,
what. I cannot I cannot believe I'm saying Nick Chubb is on the Houston Texans.
he is, and if Joe Mixon doesn't work out, it might wind up being Nick Chubb. Although he's one healthy knee and one knee that
Yeah,
probably will
it's
never
funny.
be right.
The
Yeah.
single greatest sporting event, or really any live event I've ever seen in my life, was the no, it wasn't Joe Mixon. It was Ramondre Stevenson, and that it was the Oklahoma Georgia Rose
Oh.
Bowl in
Uh-huh.
2018. That was like Baker Mayfield, Mark Andrews, Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. Just insane talent, incredible game. I get chills thinking about it. So for me, yeah, all these guys are trash, but I'm a believer in Marcus Mims because I know
If and
I
especially if his name is Marvin, even
yeah.
better.
This is yeah, Marvin, this is why I'm hot. Yeah, I feel like I've read like sleeper picks. Like this is just me throwing darts and
Yeah, well,
Marvin Mims
we're at
sounds
the
like the
end.
sort of dude who will be like the or
Rashid Shaheed.
Shaheed,
Yeah.
yeah, where it's
Sure.
like, or no, what was that guy on Tennessee
Nick
who would get
Nick
like,
Westbrook Akina.
yeah, who would have
Yeah.
like two catches, 90 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, one quarterback lead, Rashad Bateman. I guess these are people. Um, I get like I only have two. Do I? No, I got more than enough running backs. I don't love this guy. I don't love this guy. Let's look at our running backs. Um, I make this choice every year. This could be the year where Bijan Robinson gets hurt.
Yeah, I mean, the person who takes Bijan really should have handcuffed that. The robot should have known better and handcuffed him, but he did not. Let's see. I'm sure I'm gonna take the chance on Brandon Ayuk coming off the PUP again. These are stash type players, And who's my starting tight end, Ian? I don't think there's one left on my list.
Zach Ertz,
Definitely,
man.
definitely Zach Ertz. What a year he had last year. It's the greatest.
Hunter Henry, I feel like I picked him up and dropped him at least three times in any given league last year.
Yeah,
Um,
I think you're probably right.
yeah, I mean
Can I
Isaiah
mention?
Likely, that would be a good pick.
Sure.
But
He's hurt and he has another guy on his team. But
all right.
um, I think my favorite song of this year that I heard about on IndieCast is that Geese song.
Oh yeah,
I love that song.
yeah, that's it.
Texas.
Yeah, it's a great song, and if it's not
Yeah,
MJ Lenderman coded, 2025 is the year of Cameron Winter coded.
it may
That's like
be.
MJ Lenderman with a little bit more of like a NYC zest to it. You know
Right,
what
a
I
little
mean?
edge, a little Manhattan
Yeah.
edge. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a good song. I'm really looking forward to that album. What? Oh my God, who are these people? Xavier Legette, like he had some moments. He
He's a
had
guy.
some, yeah. What if he?
He's a human.
What if he? You know, maybe I go with the second or break Blake Corum. Like, I mean, that people were really talking him up, but
The
I'm
good
gonna
thing is
go.
in the 13th round, there are no bad picks, really.
Yeah, but there's some bad picks that are worse than others. Oh, look at that. Keenan Allen's back on the Chargers. You learn something new every day.
He for sure is.
Dylan Sampson appears to be. I'm gonna go with Dante Thornton. I don't know who this person is. Um,
Raiders.
okay, cool. Woody Marks is. Uh, I'm gonna go with Blake Corum.
Blake Corum. Rooting for that inevitable Kyron Williams injury. I thought Blake Corum was okay in limited use last year.
Yeah, the
He was
people are
okay.
losing their mind about him, but
He was, yeah, as a prospect for sure.
all right. So, uh, do I go with? I mean, Dax, that Dax Shepard never gets hurt. So
Prescott, yeah.
what did I say?
Dax Shepard. I think that's Kristen Bell's husband, right?
Yeah, it's a very San Diego thing. You gotta understand. I'm looking at the running backs right now. God, this is yeah,
I mean, I think you'd have to take Will Shipley just for the Eagles vibes
yeah, he had that one really awesome run.
in week
Uh,
18, right? And
yeah,
Barkley went crazy and ran out in the field.
yeah, that was so sick. Romeo Dubes, he's done things for me. Alec Minor. I'm I kind of like that guy when he in the preseason. He I'm gonna be bullish.
On the
No,
Titans
he's
rookie.
guard.
No,
Yeah.
he's garbage. He went from
I
bullish to
mean,
garbage pretty quick.
I don't know what I'm like Jack Beck. I mean, like how many guys do the Raiders have catching passes? Xavier Legette. I still don't know why he was picked when he was picked.
Right.
Um,
He was a first round pick.
yeah, but they still got Adam
Yeah.
Thielen. Wow. I'm gonna go with they're gonna
There he
throw the ball in
is.
Tennessee.
The Titans rookie receiver,
And I play that
Illik
guy, and
Manor.
I'll tell you why I picked him. In in college football 2020, like the one that came out last year,
Sure.
I played in Dynasty, and he somehow transferred to Virginia when I was playing with them, and he was like 6'5". He was like so
He
sick.
still is. He's very
Yeah,
big. Yeah, he's
big
tall.
guy. So maybe we got like kind of a bargain
Possession
bin.
receiver,
Yeah,
touchdown guy.
bargain
Yeah.
bin Drake London, you know?
There you go. I love it. All right, the last pick in this draft will be Najee Harris because he should probably go in these drafts, even though he was manning fireworks, you might say.
Yeah.
See what I did there? Do you see
I
what I
see
did
what
there?
you did there.
That's
Yeah.
pretty
He's
clever.
the John Paul Pierre, you know?
Unfortunately, I think hopefully the damage isn't permanent the way it was with JPP. All right, so looking back over, I mean, my draft, I feel like people are not shocked. These are a lot of guys I get in a lot of drafts. You've now had another half a round to digest your zero RB. I wouldn't say zero RB, but
Yeah.
no RBs in the first three rounds. Do you feel you end up with Walker, Aaron Jones, Tyrone Tracy, and then Algier and Corum as like handcuffy type players? Do you think when your real drafts start that you're definitely going to take running back early?
Definitely going to take running back early. Unless, even if I do have like the second pick or whatever in one of my drafts, like I'm probably going to do that just because, um,
It's
know
tough.
I know the feeling of
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Thursday or
tough.
it's Wednesday. You're just like, I'm gonna check ESPN. I'm gonna check Yahoo again. It's like or any of these guys going to be starting? And I'm like, am I really relying on someone to get 8 carries? You know what I mean? Like,
I do.
yeah, 30. They might get 32 yards, but maybe give them like a catch, and you start doing that like kind of couch change math in your head where it's like, okay, if he gets 32 yards and he gets one reception for 17 and it goes for a touchdown, like
Yeah.
that's like 10 points. That's like practically stealing. I always just love like the I still don't know how they get away with it, but the Yahoo point prediction thing. I'm like, where are you getting this from? Like, where do you think that Alec Pierce is getting 8 points from? You know what I mean?
I do. I know those people who do that, but yes, I have the same feeling. I do have the same feeling.
I wonder how it feels to be Adonai Mitchell or like Diami Brown, who are ranked lower than Amari Cooper, who is not on a team currently.
I mean, AD Mitchell's apparently had an awesome training camp. I'm not drafting him, but like I'll pay attention to him in waivers. You know, it's
Yeah,
interesting.
Daniel Jones winging it. What do you got to lose, man?
I mean, it's only going to go well. Ian, thank you so much for doing this. A pleasure to meet you. I'm
Yeah.
just a fan. You know, man, I approached you like last month because I just listen to your podcast all the time, and I hear you talk fantasy albums draft. So I was like, oh, I'm sure he plays fantasy football too. So
Oh, I absolutely play fantasy football.
yeah.
Like this is kind of like James Dolan playing with the straight shot, playing blues guitar at MSG. It's like the riches came to me in another form, but what I really long to do is to riff on this type of stage.
Well, it was a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for being here very much. I really want folks to listen to IndieCast. If you've never given it a try, it's a blast. There's tons of new music recommendation. I get so many people on social media saying, "Hey, what are your favorite new songs this week, that week?" I'm like, dude, I don't have
MJ Lenderman.
the time. It's always MJ Lenderman. I mean, I don't have time to listen like you guys do. It's your passions and your avocations and your vocations, and so that's where I get a lot of my music is from IndieCast. So thank you to you for being here. Thanks again to ZBiotics. Remember, if you'd like to support us and support ZBiotics, you can do that. zbiotics.com/Harris. Thanks, of course, to Dave Pyper for continuing to be the best producer in the business. Let us know down in the comments if you like the way the teams showed out, if you learned something about the way we picked that is going to steer the way you pick when your drafts come along. We love to read your comments and give us a like and a subscribe and all that stuff too. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button, write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.